All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin. All right, welcome back to the other side of the coin, ladies and gentlemen. Another day, another live stream. Just like every other time, we're going to try and connect as best as possible in these very, very weird times. This season is just, when you look at face value, Super Cup trophy, Club World Cup, third in the Premier League, but distant third from the front two. Carabao Cup runners-up. I don't really care about runners-up, but it is what it is. FA Cup final and Champions League quarterfinalists. It kind of sounds like it's been pretty all right, hasn't it? But still, there seems to be that lull feeling. There seems to be this feeling where you're just not happy. You're just not satisfied. Since the last international break, it just hasn't been that great. And in fact, the entire season, there's only been a handful of games where we've actually been great. And do you know the crazy part is? Arsenal were in a losing streak, and then they got the victory against us. Man United have been getting battered. They just got battered 4-0 yesterday against Brighton. We had a draw. Wolves were in a 3-match losing streak, and over the last 10 games, it hasn't been looking that great for them anyway. They find themselves 2-0 down at Stamford Bridge and then still having the audacity to come back to 2-2. Against West Ham wasn't easy either, and it was a weakened West Ham team. It's just not been good, man. It's just, I mean, how do you guys feel? Has the team checked out? Has Thomas Tuchel checked out? I feel like it's not just the team. I think even Thomas Tuchel has checked out. It's been a lot of adversities. I get that. I understand that. But the way we're ending this season is not good. It is not good at all. But we're going to talk about all of this. We're going to talk about Chalobah as well. This whole conundrum, this mystery about Trevor Chalobah. I really don't know what's going on. So we're going to talk about that. Obviously, we're going to talk about the team checking out, and I guess, what is the expectation during the summer? What is the expectation next season as well? Because what do we really have in the Premier League? You know what the crazy part is? Top 4 race. I mean, I feel like we should still make it. It's crazy that we're even having this conversation, but I feel like we should still make it. I think a victory against Leeds ain't going to be easy next up. Leeds are fighting in the relegation battle, and we generally don't do well against these type of teams. We've generally not done well against any type of teams in recent times besides Real Madrid and Southampton. Crystal Palace second half. But Leeds are not going to be easy. Leeds are not going to be easy, ladies and gentlemen. And could there be a possibility? Perhaps top 4 goes till the end. Crazy days. Okay. 50 of you guys are live right now. Smash the like button. Get those likes up to well over 50 immediately. If you're here for the first time, subscribe. Hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. I want to give you guys a shout out now. And as I said, we're going to talk about Trevor Chalobah. We're going to talk about team checking out and Thomas Tuchel as well. And we're going to talk about, I suppose, expectations, summer and next season. You know, we can't be having these type of season, and we can't be having all these excuses all the time. So, Krishna, good to see you. Jeff Knightley, good to see you. Coach's Corner, good to see you. KB San, good to see you. Zunera Hassan, good to see you. Serves, good to see you. H, good to see you. What's good, Mystic Miz? Hope everything is well at Chelsea Land. Yes. Alex Abhishek Matthews, good to see you. Women's League game, brother. Big day for our ladies. Yes, big day. Silver Surfer, this season has been underwhelming for many different reasons. I'm looking forward to the summer window, and I'm also looking forward to see what Tuchel does with this team who gets rid of. Miz, love the haircut. I'll always say thank you, my man. Bobby Smoky Signals. Miz, where's your link? My man, there is no link. In fact, I'm probably not going to be doing too many link stuff. There's been a lot of incidents in recent times in Chelsea community, and I don't want to be one of those victims of these incidents. Yeah, I don't want to be sending out links. There's been a lot of time. Few people have lost their accounts because they've provided the links out there. Random people have come in and they've sabotaged the channel. So look, from here on in, interact with me via comments, interact with me via DMs. If I get to know you guys well enough, then maybe sometimes we could do a pre-recording, but never a live show. I'm sorry. The live shows are going to be myself, or if I bring any guests. I've worked too damn hard for this channel, and you guys have been a massive part of that hardworking ethics. I can't let that go right now. I simply cannot do that. Justice, good to see you. Zonera again. Hi, Miz. I think Zonera is one of my cousins out there. Phenomenal Finn, it's good Liverpool didn't win the game yesterday. These lot don't deserve help from teams to get top 4. They deserve Europa League football. Now they'll have something to play for in UCL qualification. Faz, good to see you. I just want this season to end. All these pricks needs to go, need to back Tuchel. It's not just the players, Faz. I think it'll be dishonest to just blame everything. I think players definitely, a large portion of it, obviously, all the issues that's been happening outside as well. But Thomas Tuchel is culpable as well. You know, if I say players and outside issues are, let's say, 80%, you'd have to give at least 20% to Thomas Tuchel, because I want Thomas Tuchel to improve. We should demand that. We as a fan base should demand Thomas Tuchel to improve next season as well. The man is a great manager. If we believe he's the number 3 after Pep and Jurgen Klopp, he's got to showcase that next season. We demand him to do well. Defensively, offensively, philosophy, kind of players that we bring in, decision-making, in-game management, player management, lots of things. We're going to talk a little bit about yesterday's game because his substitutions made no sense to me, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Chalobah as well. Pranav, good to see you. Anurag, good to see you. Alex, good to see you. Francis, good to see you. Evander, good to see you. Moose, good to see you. Milo, good to see you. Miz, I don't see the same intensity and fury from Tuchel at touchline. The players have checked out. What hurts? It's so obvious every time we watch Chelsea is how we change gears when we take the lead. Yeah, it's mad. It's mad. I don't know what's going on with our team. I really don't. Zeke, good to see you. I get that. But what I love about your channel is that where is it? It takes from non-British fans. Nah, brilliant. Look, yeah, Zeke, I will bring people, but once I get to know them, I'm not going to be just sending out the links over here and let anyone to talk about it. There's a discussion needs to be had about appalling officiating bias against Chelsea FC. Yeah. At the end of the day, I don't want to just dwell on that. Yes, that is a problem, but our huge issue is we don't finish our opportunities. We're at times not creative enough, and now we can't even defend. I don't think that has much to do with officiating. Spot on, Miz. We demand he does better with instilling a resilient philosophy into the team. Bread Garlic House, good to see you. Hi, Miz. You seem to rate Havertz very highly. I personally feel that he's living off the goodwill from the UCL final goal and the Club World Cup penalty. I see very little end product from him. Look, we have to understand he's young as well. He's 22. From what I saw in the Club World Cup live, he's a very good player, man. His hold up, his link up, his touches, passing range. Yes, he has to improve his finishing. I will not deny that one bit. I will not sit here and say that, Havertz is the finished product. No, he's not. There's a lot to develop yet. But he went through that phase from that Club World Cup to about, I'd say, Marchish, end of Marchish, where he was producing assists and goals. I mean, let's not forget about it. Do you remember that long ball from Jorginho? I believe that was against Newcastle. That great technique to, you know, I suppose trap the ball, the first touch, and then hit a winner. I mean, we've seen it. We've seen it. He's got the capacity. He just obviously needs to be more consistent. Digital film reviews. Good to see you, Lee. Good to see you. Hi, Miz. How you doing? Doing well, my man. Hope you're doing well. G11W. Good to see you. Zolo Golo. Good to see you. Miz, you forgot to brush your hair. It's spiked up, man. That's what it is. Unfazed. Good to see you. And Bruce Buck. Okay. All right. Let's talk about some of these stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday, let's talk about the Trevor Chalobah situation. I am at a point where I don't understand why Trevor Chalobah doesn't get enough game time anymore. It's almost as if he's become an afterthought. I understand he's made some mistakes. I'm not going to sit here and say that he hasn't. He definitely has. He definitely has made some mistakes. But surely the attributes he brings to the team, physicality, pace, strength, the robust nature, the grit, tenacity, playing for the badge, surely his technicality as well. Like, he's a very good ball-playing defender. He scored goals in set pieces. We've seen that. He's hit an absolute screamer early in the season. Like, have we just given up? Like, has Thomas Tuchel just shut this guy out? I don't understand why are we still persevering, and I'm going to have to say this name out, Azpilicueta as a wingback. Azpilicueta in recent times actually cost us points. He actually has cost us points. I get that he's the club captain, but God damn it, there has to come a point where one has to realize that him being in the team is becoming somewhat detrimental. Him not having the legs specifically, him playing in the wing back, when he bombs up, he ain't coming back anytime soon, my man. Why not play Chalobah in RCB, which was working, and why not play Reece James at right wing back, which was also working? Is it the fact that Reece James can't play wing back anymore or something? Is it too demanding on his body? I don't get it, because if that's the case, that's a bigger issue. But why have we shut out Chalobah? What is the reason? I want to hear from you guys. What's going on? Why are we persevering with Azpilicueta when I've got no issues with Aspi coming off the bench? Give us some fresh legs. Why is he still starting? He literally cost us the game against Everton. I don't know whether Aspi's mind is at Chelsea anymore. I think he's leaving as well. I think he's going to Barcelona. And that's fine. He's a legend of the football club. There's no doubt about that. But it hurts to see him in this situation now. And as a manager, Thomas Tuchel, is it too difficult to sit down with Azpilicueta and the team and say, hey, Aspi, you're going to have to come off the bench from now on. You're still going to be a key figure, but off the bench. You're still going to be a key figure outside of the match. You're still going to be a key figure in the dressing room. But I'm going to start believing and trusting in Chalobah. This modern day football is about robust nature. You have any players, and we've got a lot. We've got a plethora of players that physically that can't stand up, don't have the pace. Agility, mobility seems to be a bit of an issue. In this day and age, it's a detriment. It is an absolute detriment. How's Chalobah not starting, man? He's been frozen out badly. And I think that right side, had we had Chalobah and Reece James, it would have looked a lot more solid. I don't know whether we don't concede. We probably would still concede, but at least it would have looked a lot more solid. Let's have a look at some of your comments before we go into the next topic, which I want to talk about is the subs, which did not make sense, and the change of formation that did not make sense. But let's check out some of your comments. Something has defo happened between Tuchel and Chalobah off the pitch. Why hasn't anyone reported on this, if that's the case? Apparently, the assistant manager pulled aside Chalobah and talked about some of his mistakes, and Chalobah apparently took it nicely. So I don't know what the drama is. Chalobah is giving me Tomori vibes when Frank throws him out. Yep. The thing is, similar, I guess, with Frank as well. Frank handpicked Tomori from Derby. And similarly, Thomas Tuchel handpicked Chalobah to stay within the team. So it's all of a sudden like, the opinions have changed from Thomas Tuchel. Chalobah has been a weird one for me. He should have played more games than Aspie. 100%, man. 100%. Explosive, good to see you. Chalobah doesn't get the game time due to blind faith in experienced senior players. We saw the same thing with Tomori, so hopefully it doesn't go the same way. Yeah, it's madness. And look at Tomori, ladies and gentlemen. He's about to win the Serie A. We can sit here and talk down about the Serie A as much as he wants, but you know what? Tomori is going to hopefully become a Scudetto champion. He's going to go down as probably one of the best defenders this season in Serie A. One of the key figures for AC Milan. And he was one of our players. I'm just saying, we need to trust our own a lot more, man. Marghi is doing the business as well in Palace. And Chalobah, I don't know. I can't. Look, as I said, I know he's made mistakes, but I simply cannot point the finger. I can't point the finger at a particular situation where I say, do you know what? Nah, I understand this is why Thomas Tuchel. I don't understand it. Like, for example, with Lukaku, I get that. The guy created his own mess, but I don't really understand what happened with Chalobah. Yes, you've made some mistakes, but I can see how good you are. And I don't get it. Moho, Tuchel should stop being stubborn. Yep, 100% should. Aspie on his last leg. See, you guys all understand it. I don't understand why Thomas Tuchel sees this. Apparently, the assistant manager of Thomas Tuchel spoke to Chalobah about his mistakes. What about the mistakes about Azpilicueta? What about the mistakes about Alonso? What about the mistakes about, the midfielders? What about the mistakes about the forwards, Werner, Lukaku, so on and so forth? Is the assistant manager going out there and talking to these players, or are they just talking to Trevor Chalobah only? Is the assistant manager talking to all the individual mistakes we've done recently? Mendy, Christensen, whoever else. I can't remember. We've made many individual mistakes. Aspie, recent time. Has the assistant manager gone out there and actually spoken to any of these guys, or the coaching is only for Chalobah? I don't understand. If we can sit here, we've got over 103 people live right now. First of all, smash the like button if you're here. And if you're here for the first time, subscribe. We've got over 100 people live right now. We understand that Aspie is past his best, but why isn't Thomas Tuchel understanding that? Why? We need to replace Aspie 100%. Yes, miss. Tell him. Absolutely. What else you guys writing here? Amber, good to see you. Miz, what did you think about our attack yesterday? I honestly liked it. Look, we will definitely talk about the attack. We'll talk about Lukaku, and I've got something, from my own, opinion that I want to share with you guys about Lukaku. We'll definitely get to that. I like the attack. Attack was okay, but what's so great about the attack when you're going to be so open in transition? It's one thing good about attacking, but you've got to be at the same time very good at counter pressing. When you lose the ball in attack, you've got to be great enough to win it back. But we were so open in midfield. Kovacic and Ruben Loftus-Cheek, they ain't double pivot players. I mean, Ruben Loftus-Cheek definitely isn't a double pivot player because he does not have any ideology as to how to defend hard, have that passion to defend. Ruben Loftus-Cheek looks great when he picks up the ball and he's driving, but he's got no desire to drop back, come back, and help out in defense. After time, he's jogging. I want him to be hungry when it comes to defending. I want him to take it seriously as much as he takes his attack seriously. Kovacic can be a double pivot player. We've seen him. He can be a very good double pivot player. He does track back. But the thing is, when you have Kovacic and Ruben Loftus-Cheek, it's just a bad match because both of them has the tendency to bomb up, and then you're left with nothing in the middle, and the opposition is going to have a party. Kovacic with a Jorginho, Kovacic with a Kante maybe. Even at times, Kovacic Kante could look a bit dodgy, but Kovacic Jorginho, a sit-up, basically. Even Kovacic Jorginho has its own flaws because at times Jorginho gets caught out. But we will talk about all of that. Let's have a few more comments about Chalobah before we move on to the next one. Justice, to be honest, Ms. Aspie brings nothing to this team anymore. He is costing us. Look, as I said, off the bench, I've got no issues. You can come off the bench, but start ahead of a robust player like Chalobah? Nah. Which is mad. Aloisi, let's have a look at Aloisi's comment here. We looked more expansive yesterday. We look expansive all the time when we play with midfield that don't have a sitter. That's when we look expansive all the time. So I don't think it's always great to look expansive. I think there needs to be an element of control. Okay. Bazian, Amin, good to see you. Miz, thoughts on Werner? Personally, the guy is finished. I don't know how he's a footballer. Missed 2 big chances and could have laid to Lukaku 4 or 5 times, but head is always down. Yeah, look, I said it. I did not get gassed when Werner was going through that really nice purple patch of Southampton, Real Madrid, second leg, Crystal Palace. And then since then, he's been not that great. And I said, I'm not going to say anything about Werner until the end of the season. And now he's helping me out anyway. Look, he needs to go. He needs to go. He's not a solution for us. If he stays, he has to produce on a regular basis. Him holding onto the ball is when we play with Lukaku, and we're going to talk about Lukaku very soon. Okay, let's talk about the Lukaku situation before we go into the substitution. Ladies and gentlemen, look, Lukaku scored 2 goals. Okay, he got the penalty and he got that really nice instinctive finish for the second goal. I've always said it, and I don't know how you guys feel about this. For me, Lukaku has never ever been a bad player. Yes, at times during the matches, we get excited, we get really frustrated, and we might hurl some insults. But in reality, Lukaku is not a bad player. The thing about Lukaku is his effort and his desire and his playing for the badge and wanting to win back the fans hasn't been there. And that's been his biggest issue. Since the infamous interview, and if you remember, just before the interview, a couple of games, Aston Villa and Brighton, he was one of our better players. After the interview, gone. Absolute gonski. He's egotistic. His ego got hurt because the way he got exposed in the fan base. And since then, he found it very difficult to recover. Now, having said that, and I once again, he's one of those players that I don't advocate whether he needs to stay or not. I still think, look, if he can't show the same sort of elements that he showed yesterday, then he needs to go and find a different home. Unless somehow he can say to himself, look, I'm over it, and now I want to concentrate on doing well. But my personal feeling, the remaining games that we have, I actually want to see Lukaku start. I really do. And hear me out why. One, I don't mind Kai Havertz starting with Lukaku, which is fine. I'm okay with that. 2 up front, Kai Havertz as a second striker, Lukaku up front, and a cam or a free sort of player in the middle. That can be Mount, that can be Pulisic, that can be Ziyech. I don't care. But we can play 2 up front with Kai Havertz and Lukaku. Kai Havertz being a second striker. For me, Kai Havertz has always been a second striker. Kai Havertz is not your dominant striker up front. He is not someone who's going to pump in 20, 25 goals. I don't expect that from him anyway. But as a second striker, I think he'll be very, very good. Someone who can engineer 10 to 15 goals. Someone who can get maybe 10 to 10 assists. Do you know what I mean? He's got that. playing ability. He's 22 as well. So I would like to see Lukaku start the remainder of the season. But here's the caveat. I want the team to pass the goddamn ball to Lukaku quicker. Please play to his strength. This is not a bad thing to do. You got £100 million striker, a talisman that you've brought in. God damn it, none of our attackers are doing well anyway. Do you know what the crazy part is? Even with the less amount of minutes that Lukaku has played, he's our top scorer still. How's that possible? Because at the end of the day, he's a striker. He's the talisman. And once again, as I said, I'm not advocating that he's faultless. A majority of the fault is on him. But we as a club, we have not played to his strengths. Yesterday, the second goal, as soon as Pulisic saw the opportunity to win that ball, he released it straight away. And that's the ideology, ladies and gentlemen. Pass the ball to Lukaku quicker, earlier. As soon as Pulisic released him, Lukaku's instincts kicked in and boom, it was a goal. It was a goal. A few moments later, Pulisic had another opportunity. And for some reason, this time, Pulisic doesn't release Lukaku early. And he takes 2, 3, 4 extra touches. And then he releases Lukaku. And by then, Lukaku's already boxed out. You got to get to Lukaku quick. Timo Werner, same thing. Doesn't play the ball quick to Lukaku. I'm hoping someone like Havertz and whoever plays behind them, whether it's Mount, whether it's Pulisic, Ziyech, will play to Lukaku quick. This is not a bad thing. When you've got a weapon up front, let's try and utilize him. Let's try and stay a little bit more compact in midfield. Whenever we get the ball, let's be quick. Not just slow side to side. Quicker passes through the middle. Quicker switch of play. If we see an opportunity to pass the ball to Lukaku quick, let's pass it. Let's slide that ball through. We saw what happened yesterday. As soon as we passed it quick, Lukaku scored. And I don't understand why it's taking so long for our team to understand this concept about Romelu Lukaku. Why? Why has this been taking so long to understand? Let's have a look at some of the comments before we talk about the substitutions and Thomas Tuchel as well, because it's been mad what's going on. Ziyech, thank you so much for the super chat. You want quick, you need Ziyech for that. That's the other one. Why hasn't Ziyech been starting lately? What's going on? Why hasn't Ziyech been starting lately? Shub Karan Singh, thanks so much for the comment. The whole attack was rotated. Need to get defense sorted. Further defensive issues will come with loss of Rudiger. 100% agreed. Justice Miz, what happened to our defense? What happened to Rudiger? Where he playing to get a big contract offer? Look, yeah, maybe his mind is not there as well. Maybe Rudiger's head's not there as well. He's thinking about Real Madrid. Our fault for not making sure we had this situation done and dusted well before the sanctions. We kept it till the sanctions and we lost him. And maybe he was playing for the contract. I don't know. Look, it's irrelevant now. It's irrelevant. He's leaving. He's gone to Real Madrid, so I can't even worry about that. Glam, Pulisic released once, but 4 times he did not. Pulisic has to be benched. Look, I don't think it was entirely bad. It was just, those moments where he should have passed. There were a few times where, he passed once to Lukaku, was a goal. A couple of times he passed it to Timo Werner as well, should have been goals. I wouldn't just bench Pulisic off the back of that performance. I don't think it was a masterclass, but I don't think it was a disaster class either. But I think he needs to understand when you play with Lukaku, get the ball to Lukaku quicker. And that goes with every other attacker as well. I agree. Though we should play him more especially with the games that's left. But if it don't work, get him off. Shake my head. 100 million we spent on him. Yeah, look, at least give it a try, right? At least give it a try. We've got Leeds next up. I think Leeds play an expansive sort of football. I don't know. Recently, I haven't seen them under Jesse Marsh, but they do need to win as well. They're in the relegation battle, depending on what happens with Everton today. It's a game where we can use Lukaku, and we should. Once again, I reiterate, we should be looking to pass to Lukaku quicker, and I think he would do the damage against Leeds. He would. He may not put everything away, but if we produce enough passes, he could do the damage. And this is the other thing, the whole Aspie situation. I'd rather want Reece James playing as a wingback so he can whip in the crosses, so you have the other element of giving Lukaku a different type of opportunity, aerial opportunity. Reece James playing as a right RCB is not always great. And this is another reason why Chalobah should be playing as RCB. Princeton, Lukaku was all over the pitch yesterday. He looked very solid. I saw his training before Wolves game. He showed that he wants to play for the badge. He deserves one more chance, Miz, for next season. Look, I don't mind, but it's up to Lukaku himself. It's up to Lukaku himself. For me, as I said, I don't think he's a bad footballer. I think there's an issue with his attitude and his efforts and his ego. If he can control all of that, then it's happy days for me. Abdullah, do you think Cheese is in top 4 race? Is there any chance for them to lose the 3rd place? You mean Chelsea? Chelsea. Yeah, okay. Yeah, every chance. It all depends what Arsenal does today. If they have a win, then they're only 1 point behind, and then then there's the North London derby, and who knows what's going to happen there. And the way we're going, I don't know whether we can win any matches anymore. Look at some of our results in the month of April and now the start of May. TT is very stupid. I could smell the goal coming, but he's blind during the match. Let's talk about this now. Ladies and gentlemen, the subs. So Thomas Tuchel takes off Azpilicueta, brings on Malang Sarr. From what I gathered, if you have a look at the equalizing goal from Wolves, there was a change of formation. There was a change of system. And Thomas Tuchel talks about this in the post-match conference. And he actually said there was a change of system, and whether it was the right thing to do or not, he'll check it later on in the clips. He takes off Azpilicueta. He brings on Malang Sarr. Malang Sarr goes as a left back. So we actually went to a back 4. Malang Sarr goes on a left back. Rudiger as a centre back. Silva. Reece James goes as a right back. Saul, who was as a left wing back, and that in itself I didn't understand. Why are we using Saul as a left wing back? The reason why Saul left Atletico Madrid was because he was playing as a wing back, as a left back. He didn't want to do that. He wanted to play in midfield. Why are we not utilizing Saul in midfield? I don't understand. Saul's, like, since his very, very off start to Chelsea career, eventually enough, during that January-December period where he got those odd minutes against Spurs, especially the January period, he actually was looking all right. Why haven't we used Saul a lot more in midfield? Anyway, he came in as a left wing-back. I got no idea what happened there. He didn't provide anything as a left wing-back. Alonso was taken off because of tactical reasons. I don't know what tactical reasons that was implemented by taking Alonso off, by putting Saul, because Saul didn't do anything as a left wing back. But then Sarr goes as a left back and Saul came into midfield. So you had Kovacic, Saul, Ruben Loftus-Cheek. We were 2-1 up. 2-1 up. Why the necessity to go to a back 4 when you're 2-1 up? Help me understand this. Why not take off Azpilicueta, bring on Chalobah? Put Chalobah as RCB, put Reece James as a wingback. Sarr comes on, and that equalizing goal came from that left side where Sarr should have been as a left back. Sarr left all that space for the Wolves player, and for some reason, I don't know what Sarr was doing. He was inside the box alongside Rudiger. And then he was jogging towards the player, and the player had all this time in the world to look up, pick up a cross, and find Connor Cody. And if you look at all that image, every defender was in fault. But obviously, that started off with Saar playing in that area. In the midfield, it was Saul and I think Ruben Loftus-Cheek. I don't know where Kovacic was. Maybe he went for a drive and he just couldn't come back. If you look at Rudiger and Silva as well, they were all ball watching. They're not looking at where their players are to stay tighter to them. Reece James was just tracking back. It was mad. It was mad. But why bring on Saar? Why the change to a back four all of a sudden? Let's have a look at this comment from Explosive, which is very interesting. We went to a back four to add the extra man in midfield. I still disagree with the decision. Nonetheless, Werner should have been taken off and should have gone to a 3-5-2. Yes. Look, I get it because we were getting opened up in midfield, right? I understand. I get why Thomas Tuchel made that change. I don't know, at that point, so late in the game, it was necessary. Maybe having more bodies in the box was probably more necessary. I understand. With the two in midfield, with Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Kovacic, it was more of a basketball game. I get it. And maybe Thomas Tuchel wanted to bring in Saul into the midfield, go with a back four, create that overload. But why not just take a strike? Take Werner, as you said, Explosive. Take Werner off. Take Werner off and put someone in midfield. Take Werner off and put Saul in midfield, shift Saar as left wing back and bring in Chalobah. A lot of things could have been done, and I don't know if that was the right thing to do. And this is why, ladies and gentlemen, I've been saying even Thomas Tuchel as a manager needs to improve next season. There's been far too many. Do you guys remember the lineup against Arsenal? Saar and Alonso on one side, I believe. Saar, I think, was LCB. Alonso was left wing back. I think that day we also had Kante and Ruben Loftus-Cheek. There's been some dodgy in-game management. There's been some strange lineups. And this is why I think it's not just the team. I think even Thomas Tuchel has gone to bed. And we as a team, we as a fan base, should demand the best from Thomas Tuchel as well. So have a look at some of your comments. Mohamed Uzay, can someone explain what the point of Havertz was? Yeah, I suppose. What was the need for that substitution as well? But maybe just to freshen things up front. Silver Surfer lol, next version of Maguire. We don't want Saar at the club no more. KC, don't understand any time we've used Ruben Loftus-Cheek or Kante as DMs when they don't have the qualities for good defensive players. It works if you use a 4-4-2, maybe not how. And let's talk a little bit about this as well. We as a fan base know Ruben Loftus-Cheek is not a pivot player. He looks great with the ball and driving past players, but the brother has no ideology to return back. Once the brother goes for a run, he ain't coming back if he loses the ball. There's no desire in transition. And there's no thought process as a team. If Ruben goes for a run, how do we stay compact? We look so disorganized as soon as if the ball is misplaced and then the opposition launches a counter themselves and we looked in disarray in midfield. But surely Thomas Tuchel should realize this, that Ruben has been probably better on the right side, whether you call it a right wing or a right mid. I tend to call it a right mid sort of position because he doesn't really naturally play as a right winger. He's more tucked in. And kind of making it as a three-man midfield with a double pivot. That position for me suited him a lot more offensively and defensively. He understood it as well. But we scrapped that and then chucked him into a double pivot situation with Kovacic, who also likes to drive from deep. When's Thomas Tuchel going to realize that Ruben Loftus-Cheek is simply not that player? He's not a double pivot player. We as a fan base, I've got nearly 160 of you guys live right now. We understand as a fan base that he ain't a double pivot player. He's never been a double pivot player. So why do we start him in the double pivot? Midfield looks so dodgy with no sitter. Ruben Loftus-Cheek can cover. At least with Kante, there is a tendency every now and then for him to sit back. But even him, Jorginho is the only sitter. Declan in Ireland. Chelsea women have just equalised against Man United. We have to win this game to win the league. Come on, Chelsea. Come on. Come on, Chelsea women's. Mohamed Uzair, we don't have a proper sitting DM. That means we need to rely on keeping possession of the ball for defense. But even Kovacic kept losing the ball and lead to first goal. Yeah, look, and this is the thing. Kovacic is not a out-and-out sitter. And this is why I keep saying, as much as Jorginho has so much flaws, he does. But he's the only one who's capable of sitting deep and hold on to the ball. He's the only one able to ensure we have more possession, which means the opposition ain't going to see the ball enough. Patrick Vieira against Crystal Palace post-match came out and said the second half in the FA Cup semi-final changed because Jorginho started to see the ball a lot more. Not my words, Patrick Vieira's word. And you tell me whether we as a fan base, do we know more than Patrick Vieira, or does Patrick Vieira know more than us? This is what I've been saying. And obviously we couldn't have used Jorginho. I understand that he was injured, but we need that type of a player in summer. Not exactly Jorginho, because Jorginho has flaws, but we need a player that is capable of doing what Jorginho does with the ball and more. But we need someone who's mobile, physical, and defensively a lot more, equipped than Jorginho. But Kovacic, Kante, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, all of these double pivot combinations, they're not the answer. They're simply not the answer. Let's have a look over here. Guys, we've got nearly 170 of you guys are live right now. Let's get the likes up to well over 100. That's the aim all the time with the streams. If we can get the likes up to 100 during the live situation, and then after that, anything is bonus. But get those likes up, and if you're here for the first time, subscribe. If you're enjoying this conversation, this interaction with you guys, please let's get that going. Silver Surfers, we need a leader in our midfield, a general, a Ballack type mindset, or a Hendo. That mindset is very important for me. We have too many nice players. Havertz has a bit of a spite in him. So has Matt. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm all up for that. That's absolutely okay. Adam Leshen, it doesn't help that our attackers seem incapable of sustaining an attack. That's because they don't tend to hold on to the ball enough, and also that, as in they don't have the concept of proper possession-based football. And at the same time, when you lose possession, they don't have the concept of counter-attack, counter-pressing to win the ball back. You look at the way Liverpool and Man City operates, they hold the ball as long as possible. They probe, ask different questions. We don't ask enough questions, different style of questions. And then when they misplace a pass or they lose the ball, they win it back immediately. They don't let the opposition breathe. We, on the other hand, we like to play basketball end to end. It's mad. Tuchel may need to try Chalobah in midfield if Jorginho can't come back soon enough. He's naturally a midfielder, but Tuchel seems to prefer him at RCB or on the bench if we are talking right now. I've always said it as well. Chalobah as a holder, as a sitter, why not? He's done it, as you said, explosive in French Ligue 1, in his loan. I don't know why we are so worried about all of this situation. I miss Makelele. Yeah, can you imagine if we had a Makelele type of a player? Alex is saying, should we play with a register? For me, that's the best way we can right now. I don't expect us to do this next season because I feel we need someone even better than Jorginho. And there are players better than Jorginho. Jorginho's got faults. But right now, he's the only one that can allow us to play the way we want to play. The thing is, he's injured as well. So we'll see when he comes back. Let's have a look at a few more comments here, ladies and gentlemen. Mo, are you worried about the FA Cup final, especially where half of our defenders are leaving and won't give 100% due to injury? Look, I think by the time the FA Cup comes around, especially it's a big situation, it's a big event, I think the players will turn up. Generally, Chelsea Football Club, when it comes to big matches, Real Madrid second leg, as we saw, Carabao Cup final against Liverpool. When it comes to big matches, we turn up. And that's the other issue. We tend to turn up on matches that we only care about. But we don't worry about any other matches. We've already clocked out from the season. I'll be surprised if we actually pick up any more wins, and maybe we just rely on Spurs and Arsenal to keep on dropping points if they can, to ensure us to finish in the top 4. I wouldn't be surprised if the same case happens like last season. But in the FA Cup, I'm quite confident we're going to come out and give Liverpool a game because I know what this team is capable of doing. And this is what hurts. We saw what the team was capable of doing against Real Madrid. It's just a shame that the team hasn't done that often enough. Because I think TT himself has checked out this season and wants to get to next season ASAP. He doesn't care anymore because the things he's doing don't make sense. Yeah, look, and this is what I've said. I think it's not just the players. I think even TT has checked out. I just hope we somehow finish in the top 4 and get to the summer situation, make some smart signings, look at some contract extensions, what we want to do, and really give it a shot next season. I don't expect us to win the league, but really be with the mix of things with Liverpool and City, who are only going to get better and better. And then don't forget the likes of Newcastle will get better. Man United under Ten Hag could still face a lot of pain, but they could obviously start looking a little bit better under Ten Hag. And yeah, Arsenal, don't disregard them. They could, if they finish top 4, they're going to do their business as well in the summer window to ensure their team is stronger next season. And Arteta, his players are believing even more and more. I guess that's the situation. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap things up. We're going to take a couple of more comments and we wrap things up. Declan in Ireland. TT not using Trev is madness. It's going like Tammy all over again. Yeah, it's sad. It is sad. Look at what Tammy's doing as well. It's mad. I honestly don't see AC Milan's important players leaving. Think Frank will resign. I honestly don't see AC Milan's important players leaving. Think Frank will resign. Don't really quite understand that. Let's look at this Surfs one. Trevor Chalobah and Malang Sarr from Chelsea first team both start for under 23s against Spurs. Wow. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys have enjoyed this live stream. We talked about quite a lot of stuff. We talked about the aftermath of the Wolves game. We talked about Trevor Chalobah. We've talked about Lukaku. We talked about midfield. We talked about the subs. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. Smash the like button if you have. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, as always, interacting with you guys. If you're here for the first time, subscribe. Hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. And I shall have another video later on tonight, UK time, perhaps a Chelsea News Blitz. And and then we'll work along towards Leeds. Happy days. Until next time. See ya.